2026. There are 303 days left in the year. Good morning. MB guiding you through In the Know at K105 on Litchfield's Country Station 1039 The Moose. Live online at K105.com via the Apple and Android smartphone app using the SoundCloud, iTunes, or Spotify podcast. On Facebook, on YouTube, on the platform formerly known as Twitter. And the hashtag is In the Know. Coming up today, we'll update you on the latest news headlines from around the community, the county, the Commonwealth, and the country. I'm still on assignment for today. We'll tell you about that. Also, a little tour of D.C. last night. The UK team is in action tonight. The regional championship is set for tomorrow. And we'll tell you what we're celebrating today. That and a whole lot more coming up today here on In the Know. Still having some problems regulating sound levels, so going to break with convention this morning and just go ahead and bring in my beautiful wife, Beej, and also Sam Gormley and the sports morning friends. Good to see you all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You all doing all right? I just didn't think it seemed natural yesterday without your music. So it's
but
like
this
just
feels weird too.
just say good morning and go on. And so I haven't had a chance to. I got caught up with Miss Buckles earlier this morning, but I haven't seen Sam since I guess this time yesterday. So you're still kicking, I see.
Yeah. Yep. Just getting. You've set a record today.
I have set a record.
Yes, for most pictures you want. So I'm.
Oh well, I mean, there's a lot to take. There's a lot to take in.
I'm still going. So I'm just chugging.
Well, I guess I could have given you a heads up that there was a big data dump, and I guess the social media world will get the photo dump later on in the day. But I was out in a big adventure yesterday, and I'll tell you about that in segment B. But we were out late last night with the Kentucky delegation. Actually, we went out to Mount Vernon for a special candlelight tour and then a dinner. And so with the snow on the ground, it snowed, ground got covered yesterday. You may be able to see behind me that there's snow in D.C. today. And but it was a long evening by the time we toured the house and some of the grounds. And then we had a special presentation from President Washington himself, and he spoke, and then an expert who is a professor on President Washington spoke, and then I guess the biggest headline of the day for me, I already shared with Beej, is I actually ate cherry cobbler last night. I know it sounds shocking, but there's the Kentucky delegation with President Washington there in the center. And I'll tell you, that guy doesn't break character. I mean, he stays in it from the very beginning. You can ask him questions, and it's as if you're talking to Washington himself. So it was nice to see. Mount Vernon is beautiful, and I'll cover it again in the tour a little bit later on all that we got into yesterday. It was there was a first for me yesterday. If we're friends on Facebook, you may already know that. But we got in about 11 o'clock, which is late for a school night for me anyway. Not for Sam, but for me, and got some rest. I clocked it. I did 5.75 miles yesterday and about 12,000 steps. So I had earned the rest that I got last night. So weather-wise today, if I can find my weather information, I'll get it to you. It is much warmer between the lakes than what we are finding here in D.C. The temperature got colder as we went yesterday, and it was a little bit rough, but in home, we're going to see a good chance of rain and even some storms throughout the middle part of the week. We're going to see a high of 68 for today. We will see 70 tomorrow. I don't know if they will suspend the tornado drill for tomorrow or not. Good chance they will because of the chances of storm in the region, but we'll find out later today. 80% chance of rain on Thursday, 20% chance on Friday, and then 72 with a high chance of rain on Saturday. And then daylight saving time begins. Are you all ready for daylight saving time?
No. I don't know. It hadn't occurred to me. I usually like that better than what we're in right now, right?
Yes, you prefer
Yes.
the
Okay.
more daylight at the end of the day because there's more time for garden and
Yes.
outside. And
Then I'm
after,
ready.
yeah, and then after work, it seems like you just kind of got more opportunities, and you'll start to see things blooming and blossoming, and we'll head into the spring. We're just a few weeks away from that now. But I guess we're actually, today is March the 3rd, so we're about 2 weeks away from that. So today, officially, the forecast, we'll see high rain chance of 80%, high of 68. Tonight, 54 is the overnight low. under rain showers tomorrow, thunderstorms, rain chance, a high of 70. And so just keep an eye, we'll see some of the creeks and the rivers will start to surge after we get rain throughout the week. You might recall we're already later this year than we were last year when we got that first big rain event that then was compounded by the rain event that came later that was, reached the historic flooding in our area. So this is the time of year where we can get those big rain events. And today will be similar to that. And actually this week will be similar to that. The Iran situation, we're scheduled to have congressional meetings tomorrow. Actually scheduled to meet with some members of Congress this evening at a reception. They're just getting back to town today. They went home for the weekend, then did not come back yesterday, and most of them are returning today at some point or late last night because both chambers of Congress are getting briefings on the Iran situation from the administration and from the Defense Department today. I believe the House is this morning, and I believe the Senate is this afternoon. So they will kind of get read in on a briefing, and we'll figure out where we stand. There was an attack on the U.S. Embassy in Syria yesterday. The embassy was attacked in Riyadh, came under attack from 2 drones, which caused a limited fire and minor damage. A diplomatic quarter resident in the neighborhood of the embassy who spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the security situation described light smoke coming from the embassy. On Monday, the U.S. Embassy compound in Kuwait was struck as well. So we're still trying to figure out. This is probably going to go into certainly days and into weeks. I don't know that it'll go into months, but we'll find out some of that as more information is known. Close to home with headlines, local fire departments have responded to multiple field fires. In the midst of a daytime burn ban in Kentucky, the spring fire hazard season is in effect until April 30th. The Kentucky Division of Forestry prohibits burning within 100 feet of a woodland or brushland between the hours of 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. The Division of Forestry responds to more than 1,000 wildfires across Kentucky each year. Activity. So you can be fined up to a $500 fine and can even receive some jail time for ignoring that burn ban and law. The Litchfield Fire Department responded to report of smoke inside the old City Hall building. Firefighters responded yesterday morning about 7:55 to 314 West White Oak Street, which is the old Litchfield City Hall, now occupied by Centerwell Home Health. Firefighters found no smoke coming from the building, but there was hazy smoke lingering just below the ceiling of the bottom floor of the 2-story building, according to Fire Chief Tim Duval. During a search of the building, the firefighters determined the smoke originated in an HVAC unit on the west side of the building. The fan on the blower motor seized up, but the belt continued to turn, causing the smoke. The blower motor itself was working properly. Incidentally, Miss Buckles may know this or may remember this, but I bet Sam doesn't know this. Sam, I used to live upstairs at that building.
Really?
Yes, when I was a baby, I lived upstairs for a short period of time there. A man has died it was before it was City Hall, of course. A man has died in a house fire in Hardin County. The Hardin County Sheriff's Office said the fire occurred Sunday morning about 11:15 in the 50 block of Summit Hill Baptist Church Road in Summit, just east of the Hardin-Grayson County line. Firefighters located a deceased male inside the residence, according to the Sheriff's Office. The name of the decedent has not been released, and at this time, no foul play is suspected. Attorney General Russ Coleman announced yesterday that his Office of Consumer Protection has secured a court order to end unlawful operations for a group claiming to be veterans and soliciting donations. Franklin Circuit Court Judge Philip Shepard ordered Your Hometown Heroes Incorporated, operating in Marion County, to end all solicitation efforts and other operations, in addition to entering a $421,000 monetary judgment reflecting $1,000 per day contempt fines for 421 days of noncompliance. The court permanently blocked Your Hometown Heroes Incorporated from being part of any charitable activity or fundraising in the state, vacated the organization's corporate charter, revoked or suspended its licenses, permits, and certificates to do business in Kentucky. Any fines recovered from the fraudulent organization would be returned to the General Assembly after the AG's office recovers its cost. Coleman said, stealing in the name of those who have sacrificed for our country is not just fraud, It is a betrayal of honor itself. These bad actors preyed on the generosity and patriotism of Kentuckians, and we are proud to shut them down. I don't know anything about the organization. I would think that there's a good chance that, as often things do, they might have started with the best of intentions, but perhaps lost their way over a period of time, or perhaps the aims were fraudulent from the very beginning. I don't know, but don't take advantage of veterans. They are a protected class in our community, and don't be raising money that's not going to them in their name. A bill that institutes an additional safety step during the organ procurement process passed unanimously in the House last week. House Bill 510 would allow a pause in procedure in organ donation. The pause can be initiated if any change in neurological status or indication of life in a patient, or uncertainty regarding the accuracy of completeness of neurological status, or death declaration assessments is reported during any organ donation recovery, preservation, or procurement activity. Hospital health providers or clinical staff, organ procurement organization, or transplant center personnel, members of the surgical or anesthesiology team, and the patient's spouse or legal representative can initiate a pause in procedure. There was no discussion on the matter. It passed unanimously, 97-0. It was received in the Senate on February 26th. So you say, what is this bill all about? Basically, there's making extra sure that if your organs are being donated for someone else's use, that you aren't going to need them anymore. You're finished with them and someone else can have them. That's pretty much the intent of what they are trying to accomplish. Sam has been waiting anxiously for the following information. That is that the 26-27 Kentucky license year of fishing, hunting, boating, and more began Sunday, so outdoor enthusiasts can now buy all the licenses, tags, and permits they need to enjoy Kentucky's outdoors through the end of February 2027. Didn't you have this marked on your calendar wondering when you would learn?
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're an avid fisherman, do a lot of hunting, and the good news for you, Sam, is the license and permit fees will remain the same as the same licenses last year. If you have questions, go to the Fish and Wildlife Licenses webpage or type licenses into the search bar on the agency's website, which is fw.ky.gov, or info.center@ky.gov if you need additional information on that. While we are wrapping up winter sports, in particular boys basketball, spring sports are already on the horizon and already active. I believe the track and field team had their opening meet of the season. Was it over the weekend, Sam?
Yeah, I think it was on Saturday. If you want some results, you can go to our website. We have that. Thanks to Coach Hayes for sending them over. It's a litany of results on there.
I saw the events that the Cougars won. Boys 4x200 relay, boys pole vault, boys 300-meter hurdles, girls 300-meter hurdles, girls high jump, and then big points across relays, sprints, hurdles, and fields. So some very detailed information with times and et cetera there at K105.com that you can take in should you be so inclined. And again, like Sam said, thanks to Coach Hayes for that information. So I guess we're all poised and ready for the excitement. Tomorrow night is the third region tournament. Boys side gets underway down at Owensboro. Are you all locked and ready, Sam?
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. It's going to be Muhlenberg County, the opponent in the night game on Wednesday evening. So, and obviously, if the Cougars win, they would then play Saturday against either Davis or Brack. So, but obviously, they need to focus on Muhlenberg right now because that's not a cakewalk by any stretch.
Yeah, I was talking with a friend last night about it, and just at this time of year, you got to be careful not to take anybody for granted because anybody's season can end on any particular night. One of the things I believe about the Cougars this year is they can afford for one or even two people to have an off night, and somebody will step in and make sure that they come out. So they're deep enough and they're strong enough that you can overcome some of those things. But basketball is a funny thing, you just never quite know.
Last time there was a junior Gaither on the Cougars was 25 years ago, and that season ended pretty okay. So
wow, it's hard to believe that was 25 years ago already, but time
25
flies.
years ago.
Time
So
flies
yeah,
when you're having fun.
And I know we've gotten a lot of questions on how do you purchase the stream and so on. If you go to our website, you can see there's some information on how that's going to work and so on. It'll be similar to last year, but remember, if you don't want to, you can listen. And we'll have the video uploaded onto YouTube after the game.
You feel pretty confident that we're going to get it up quickly after the game ends?
Yeah, I think I have a plan that knock on wood, might even work to as soon as we say so long, everyone, that it'll be up.
Okay,
Nice.
that sounds all right. That's probably a workaround they haven't considered. So figure out how they'll close that loophole at some point in time. But
Well, I don't think they have any right to close that loophole if it does.
well, I don't think they have the right to do some of the things they do. But we just kind of go along
What is funny is that they asked me to send them an email with the information of people who are coming, and then today I got an email from RAD saying, "Hey, can you email them?" And I said, "Well, I already did." So
Okay.
my assumption is they probably have us under a block or something because on how much they love us there,
You mean a cinder block?
or something.
Or,
Yeah,
or a cell block? Either one.
they might have that ready for. That's the real reason we keep Steven around. He's our muscle.
The Kentucky Wildcats will play tonight. They are still kind of on the verge of getting a double bye into next week's SEC tournament. They did pick up 2 wins last week. Need to at least split this week. Saturday will be a tough challenge when Florida comes to town. Florida looks really good. So it'll be important that they win against Texas A&M tonight. But, they beat Vandy last week. They beat South Carolina last week. So the game is at 6 o'clock. Countdown is at 4:30. And then I read that Malachi Marino was named SEC Freshman of the Week yesterday. So congratulations to Malachi. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Going to give you a little information on my tour of D.C. yesterday. And we got some other things planned for you. So hang around here on In the Know.
At Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield, Dr. Priyank Chauhan provides compassionate care for adults and seniors. Board certified in internal and geriatric medicine, he's dedicated to managing chronic conditions, preserving independence, and enhancing the quality of life. Proudly serving Grayson County because your health matters. Schedule today. Call Owensboro Health Family Medicine in Litchfield at 270-259-8888.
Looking for a place to connect and make a difference? At the Moose Lodge, you'll be stepping into a place where children find hope and seniors find care. Experience the fun of gaming and drinks while socializing with other members in our licensed lounge. We are inviting qualified guests to visit and consider membership. Be part of something meaningful. The Grayson County Moose Lodge is at 289 Alex Drive in Falls of Rough, where community meets connection. Stop by or follow us on Facebook for more information.
Remember when your friend used to say,
"Let's just wing it."
then you tried planning a trip alone, and when you got lost, your friend said,
"Told you we should have called an expert."
so you decided to try again, but with a pro. Now your friend is off on an unplanned adventure. Don't wing your dream vacation. Contact the certified experts at Your Global Getaway.
Visit yourglobalgetaway.com.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
My first mistake wasn't skipping the spa day. It was thinking I didn't deserve a little self-care. That's why I'm heading to Pure Aesthetics and Wellness this Saturday, March 7th.
Discover Jeuveau, an FDA-approved injectable to smooth those frown lines. Join us from noon to 4 at 302 West White Oak, Suite C, Litchfield. No appointments needed. First 10 arrivals get 10 free units, a t-shirt, and $40 off a full service. Because you deserve it.
This is Joshua Horton, Public Health Director here at the Grayson County Health Department. March is National Nutrition Month, a time to focus on making informed food choices and building healthy habits that will last a lifetime. At GCHD, we know that good nutrition isn't just about food. It's about family, growth, and giving our children the best possible start. And that's where WIC comes in. WIC, which stands for Women, Infants, and Children Program, provides healthy foods, breastfeeding support, nutrition education, and personalized guidance for pregnant women, new moms, infants, and children up to the age of 5. From fresh fruits and vegetables to whole grains and dairy, WIC helps families stretch their grocery budget while nourishing growing bodies and minds. If you are pregnant, recently had a baby, or have young children, you may qualify. contact the Grayson County Health Department today at 270-259-3141 option 1 or visit us online at www.graysoncountyhealth.org.
Artificial intelligence is being blamed for big job cuts at a high-tech payment company. Here's Rory O'Neill.
4,000 jobs are being cut by payment service company Block. Chairman Jack Dorsey, the man behind Twitter, says the cuts are because of AI, and he warns similar moves by other tech companies are on the horizon. Block runs Cash App and Square, and the job cuts amount to about 40% of the workforce.
Google is reportedly paying $1 billion for batteries that last for 100 hours. Those batteries will help power a new data center in Minnesota that also uses solar and wind. The battery company Form Energy, based in West Virginia, this is their first big payday. And OpenAI on Friday said it struck a deal for the Pentagon to use its models in the U.S. Defense Agency's classified network with safeguards after President Donald Trump blacklisted AI rival Anthropic. Trump had ordered the government to stop using Anthropic, calling it a threat to national security after it refused to agree to unconditional military use of its Claude models. Tech Report, I'm Mark Mayfield.
Today is American National Anthem Day. It is Canadian Bacon Day today. I've had Canadian bacon already, but then I feel like I'm kind of being mean to the American National Anthem. I guess I should have American bacon today, so I'll work that in later. It's Unique Names Day today, and it is Talk in Third Person Day. And whenever I think of talking in third person, I always think of George Costanza's outgoing message on his answering machine. Believe it or not, George isn't at home, to the greatest American hero theme. Yeah. Yesterday, after I wrapped up the show, did some, post-production, did a couple of promos, did some commercial production, etc., and then decided to get layered up. When I left out around, I guess it was almost midday here in the Eastern time zone, the show wraps at 11. So it's like, well, I mean, here we are middle of the day already, but I wrapped up and got out and walked the mall, the National Mall. So from along the wharf here, it's a very nice walk over to the Jefferson Memorial, where I realized, I guess my first trip to Washington, D.C. was when I was an eighth grader and came to Washington, D.C., and we saw some of the things on the mall, but realized that I'd never been to the Jefferson Memorial before, and it's absolutely stunning when you go up the steps there and you look back over and look in different directions, and then the tidal basin. So there's Thomas Jefferson right there, an imposing figure in the middle of that rotunda that is the Jefferson Memorial, and then you look toward the ceiling and that cupola that's up there in that dome is gorgeous. And then the Declaration of Independence is scattered out on the granite walls around that memorial. So then when you step out the front steps of that, then you're looking across the tidal basin over to the Washington Monument. So I said, well, let's just go to the Washington Monument. So we hoofed it over there and saw several National Guard members who were out kind of patrolling. And when you get to the Washington Monument, you can look up the hill toward the White House, which is, if you're watching, you can see the White House there, and then off to the other direction, you get the Lincoln Memorial. So it kind of goes in a line: Lincoln Memorial, Washington Monument, and then the U.S. Capitol building, all along the nation's mall. So all in all, that was about 3.75 miles round trip, and then had lunch, and then went out to Mount Vernon last night, where we got to do a tour of Mount Vernon, in which the house is being somewhat restored and renovated. It was so interesting. That's the main house, and it's been in 3 different versions. That's the banquet room that you're looking at, if you're watching. So they would have parties there. This is from the front steps of this. You're looking. You can hardly see it in this photograph because it's dark. But if you look closely, you can tell that's the Potomac River, and we're in Virginia, and we're looking at Maryland. And so they would have a boat dock down there, and they would come and go, et cetera. So just a really beautiful area. There's kind of the main foyer area that goes upstairs. And the wallpaper is accurate, by the way. This is their dining room. And one of the things I wanted to point out about the dining room is that green color. I thought Miss Buckles would notice that immediately. This was the most expensive paint to buy in the 1700s when Mount Vernon was built. And so this was the statement they were making with their dining room, this gorgeous emerald green color. And they had, piano in the various places. But then we were taken to the private residence of President Washington and Martha Washington. And it was sort of odd. Yeah, hold here, Sam. This is the bed where President Washington died on December 14th, 1799. This little ensuite that belonged to the Washingtons, it was a workspace for her. He called it Mrs. Washington's bedroom, but he slept here. But she never slept in this room again after December 14th, 1799. She moved up on the third floor into another bedroom. She just didn't want to go back in there, or didn't want to use that as her residence. And then you continue the tour. You go down to This is the President Washington's private study. All of the books have been removed currently because they are doing some restoration in this room. And it's just an amazingly beautiful room. And this is his private desk. It's up against the wall. And we were gifted bookmarks last night of this private desk that President Washington wrote a lot of his papers. He did a lot of his land management, et cetera. And so it was a great experience. As I told you yesterday, I deliberately came 24 hours earlier than I needed to in order to not miss last night. So then we went over to the Presidential Library where we had dinner last night. And this is President Washington with us. Ken Salvaggi is in there, the current KBA chair. You got Ethan Moore, who's the chair-elect. You got Chris Winkle on the top step up there. You got Jamie and Julie and my pal Tom McMakin and Dale Thornhill and Mike Tarter in there. So it was really nice. It was a great night, and we will look forward to. Yeah, this was kind of me. This was late in the night where okay, dinner is about to start, and it ended up being like a 2.5 hour dinner. Miss Buckles, you've seen that picture already, so
I have.
you can kind of tell I was a little fatigued.
Yes, you were tired.
I've had a long day today, but I told you yesterday I was going to get out and explore, and
You certainly
did.
did.
It was cold. I mean, it got rough. So, do you all have any field trip questions before we move on? Anything you need to know about?
Do you think I got all your pictures?
I didn't notice that you missed any.
Okay.
It was
a lot.
yeah, it was a lot, but it's just so interesting, our tour guide, to be able to share different things about how the house operated and the significance of the different rooms. They had primary bedrooms for guests. Like, it was common then that if you let someone in your home, you would accommodate them and pay for their stay, and it was rude to ask when they were leaving. In modern standards, if somebody comes to stay with you, you say, okay, well, you're going to be here a week, or you're going to be here a weekend, or when is it? And so, but it wasn't that way then. So people would come and go, and they would just be there for long periods. But so imagine this: at one point in time, 8,000 acres. 8,000 acres is what Mount Vernon was, and now it's down to 500. And it was bought from the Washington family by a ladies group, sort of like the Daughters of the American Revolution, but specifically for this purpose. They purchased it, and they still continue to operate it. The Presidential Library has only been there, I think, since 2014, so it's relatively new. But the unique part of the opportunity last night is that if you go there in the summer, you'll be shoulder to shoulder with thousands of people, because it's such a popular spot to get out to Mount Vernon and see it, which, by the way, is 22 feet above sea level. So it's not quite mountainous, but the previous owner of the property, who had served in the 7 Years' War as a British soldier, his commanding officer was named Vernon. And so they took this estate that was called like the Little Creek something or another. And when he came back home from his service, he decided he wanted to name it in honor of his commanding officer, whose surname was Vernon. And he thought Mount sounds sophisticated, so it became Mount Vernon. And then, interestingly enough, I also learned yesterday, I guess I knew this but had never considered, President Washington didn't have children.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have biological children. When he married Martha Washington, who was a young widow, she had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old, and so he raised them as his own. But from a genealogy standpoint, there is no one in the line of George Washington. But he was part of a 9-member sibling group. So there are, cousins to that line that continue on. You can follow that line through the United States, but President Washington himself actually didn't have any children. And then it was a neat marriage too, because Mrs. Washington, her first husband, was one of the richest men in Virginia at the time. And when he passed without a will because he was relatively young as well. And so at that point in time, they took 50% of his wealth and put it in a trust for the two children, 3 and 5. And then who became Mrs. Washington, she got the other 50%. Well, President Washington, then General Washington, and then just George Washington before that, he was very rich in land holdings. So he was wealthy in land, but not liquidity. She was wealthy in liquidity. And so the two of them together were like this mega merger of resources. And he was good steward of the land management, crops, etc. He was doing global trade, etc. And just kind of a fascinating story. You think you know President Washington, and you do, but finding out things that are beyond just the American Revolution were interesting to learn, at least for me. And then the significance, the reason Beej and I have already laughed this morning is because I don't like cobbler. Like, I swear I don't eat cobbler. I'm like,
No.
I don't want it. And so when I saw it on the dinner menu, Chris Winkle was sitting to my right last night, and I said, "Oh, cherry cobbler." And he said, "You don't like cobbler?" I was like, "No, I don't like cobbler because I don't like it soupy and it's runny and it's blah, blah, blah." But they
And
brought
after
it out and it was,
all those like miles and walking, you could have had like the best dessert and you saw cobbler, right?
yes, yeah, I saw cobbler. I was like, and the steak was fine. It was fine. They had like a carrot mousse, which doesn't look very appetizing. So you can imagine that color. But they set it down in a ramekin, and it was basically just a piece of cake with cherries and cherry sauce underneath it, and then a scoop of ice cream on top. So I took a bite, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I like George Washington cobbler. I apparently just don't like Southern cobbler, where we just throw it in a 9x14 pan and just let it be all gooey." Why are you shaking your head?
I love cobblers.
I know you do.
I know.
I mean,
so,
I don't
and
know that
I'll
I did. I did never. I couldn't tell you the last time I had it.
Well, and I try to make, when I do, them not as soupy, but I can eat a whole cobbler by myself. I don't have to worry about it. So.
Yeah, I like them when they're very, when they're very bready, like bread oriented, and then there's got some texture, some consistency. But like, I'm weird about that with soup. Like, I want hearty, thick soups. I don't want brothy soups. So I guess you could just consider.
You know,
me
like
to
chicken
be,
noodle soup.
I like chicken noodle soup, but it needs to be heavy on the chicken and the noodles
hearty.
and low on the broth. I don't like the. It
So
just
you
doesn't appeal to me.
asked if there were questions about the field trip, but then you kept talking. So
Okay.
So all of the books. This is not really a question. That's a little disappointing to me. I would have loved to have seen the photo, obviously, of all the books, because I'm a nerd. But are you going to use your bookmark, or are you going to put your bookmark somewhere special?
I'm going to use it. And one of the reasons that I'm going to use it is, one, it was sponsored by the Swagger Institute.
Okay.
So there's sentimental value because Darren was he was the sponsor of that. And then they mentioned Darren wasn't there to be able to give a speech, which meant we shaved an hour and a half off of the evening because he would have talked for an hour and a half. But because it came from the Presidential Library and came from Mount Vernon, I have decided, instead of using a dollar bill or the little piece of cardboard that they wrap your hotel key in as a bookmark, I've decided now I have a bona fide actual bookmark. Now, in my Bible, I use different bookmarks already. Like Uncle Hub gave me the one of Granddad's that I coveted. So I was rewarded for coveting that bookmark. And then I have one of my Memo Alvina that I use as well, and then some various things. But this will be my recreational reading bookmark. So yeah, I'm looking forward to being able to use it. And don't worry, we can come back when the books go back in his study. We can go back.
I'm okay, but thank you.
I did notice that if you were to go back and scroll through the pictures later at some point, or if you see them when I post them socially, every piece of art that's in that home is original and was on display. Like, that's the Marquis, that's Lafayette, the Marquis de Lafayette, who came and stayed in this room. That's an actual piece of art that was commissioned by President Washington. So if it's in there, then it was original to the home. It has not been added, but they showed the kitchen house and all those various things. So it was nice. I encourage you to do it. But as if I understand correctly, it's extremely busy if you go on a regular day. So just be prepared to fight all the crowds, etc. I think we were a little bit spoiled last night to have the experience that we did in such a private showing. And I don't think I mentioned it. Thanks to the Indiana Broadcasters Association for organizing. Michigan was along, Minnesota was along, and then Kentucky, and then some other special guests as well. So anyways, a great night. Thanks for indulging me and listening. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. We've got some entertainment headlines for you. We'll talk about the Paramount and Warner Brothers merger coming up here on In the Know.
Thinking about furthering your education? At Elizabethtown Community and Technical College, you'll get a high-quality education close to home at a cost that won't break the bank. Enjoy small class sizes with professors who take a personal interest in your success. Scholarships are still available, making our low tuition even more affordable. ECTC's Litchfield campus is now enrolling for classes that begin March 16th. Call 270-259-1540 or visit elizabethtown.kctcs.edu to get started. ECTC, college for the real world.
My first mistake wasn't skipping the spa day. It was thinking I didn't deserve a little self-care. That's why I'm heading to Pure Aesthetics and Wellness this Saturday, March 7th.
Discover Jeuveau, an FDA-approved injectable to smooth those frown lines. Join us from noon to 4 at 302 West White Oak, Suite C, Litchfield. No appointments needed. First 10 arrivals get 10 free units, a t-shirt, and $40 off a full service. Because you deserve it.
Who did you let down today? Your wife? Your kids? Well, how about yourself? Take a look in the mirror. If you're tired of your drug and alcohol problem, you need to fix the problem, and right now, before you hurt or kill yourself, or worse yet, somebody else. Call the addiction specialist now at the Reset Addiction Treatment Helpline. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We'll find you the right treatment regardless of your financial situation. When you call right now, you'll speak to a recovering addict who understands what you're going through right now. Let us help you break your addiction to drug and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential and free. So take 5 minutes of your time and call us right now. We're here answering the phone. I promise it'll change your life.
Call 800-853-0975. That's 800-853-0975. 800-853-0975. Again, 800-853-0975.
It's almost May. The primary election is coming. And right now, your community is asking an important question. Do you know who's working the polls? Poll workers keep elections fair, local, and running on time.
I'm Secretary of State Michael Adams. Step up. Serve your community. Sign up today to be a poll worker for a May 19th primary.
Learn more at sos.ky.gov.
At the Kentucky Opioid Response Effort, we are committed to supporting quality providers and programs that benefit Kentuckians. Because of this work, we know there are quality services and supports out there right now. If you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, the KY Help Call Center can connect you with resources right now when you call 833-8KY-HELP. You can also visit findhelpnowky.org to find treatment and recovery options that are right for you.
This is a message from Teen Kentucky, sponsored by the Office of Drug Control Policy and aired by this station.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America. 200 food banks strong.
K105, Weather from the Wave Storm Tracking Team, is brought to you by Your Global Getaway. Start planning your adventure now at yourglobalgetaway.com.
Twin Lakes weather.
As we head through the afternoon and evening hours, our main rain chances will be for those of you north of I-64. Otherwise, we're going to see highs today in the 60s, and tonight will fall down into the 50s as we keep clouds overhead. Tomorrow, additional rounds of showers and thunderstorms will be back in our forecast. From the Wave News Storm Tracking Team, I'm meteorologist Tawana Andrew.
I'm a love man. Call me the love man. Ooh, baby, I'm a love man. That's what they call me. I'm a love man. I'm 6 feet 1 weight, 210. Long hair and pretty pale skin. Long legs and I'm a eyesight. Hey, look, girl, I wanna take you out 'cause I'm a love man. That's what they call me. I'm a love man.
Did you know horses use their ears and eyes to communicate with each other? I think one of you probably already knew that.
I might should turn my mic on.
Yes, you did know that?
I don't know that I knew that. No, believe it
So-
or not.
So
I
that
don't know
leads
that
me
I
to
knew that.
ponder, how do they flip one another off then? If they're only got their eyes and their ears, how do
With
they?
a tail, I guess.
I guess they can.
Nice SWAT. I don't know.
Yesterday I was on a pathway between the Jefferson Memorial and the Washington Monument, and so I was booking it pretty good. But coming the other direction was a U.S. Park policeman on horseback on one of those. I think it's the size of a Clydesdale, but I think is like an Appaloosa, another big huge breed.
Yeah.
Like that. So because of its coloring, I think it was an Appaloosa. But it's kind of a caramel color, kind of a lighter blondish kind of, rather than that dark like Clydesdales. But we were going in opposite direction, and I decided to yield the pathway, which was only about 4 feet wide. I decided to yield to the big horse that could have knocked me over. Was that wise?
I think so, because I just go back to the friend. Everything is a Friends episode for me, right? So I just go back to the Friends episode where I don't remember. That's odd. Is it Phoebe or Rachel? Whatever. They run right smack into the police horse. So
Oh yes, I recall that now.
yes,
Yeah,
the running episode.
But for the record, for those of you who wondered or pondered in your mind, then the horse and I did not communicate with our eyes or ears. I just decided to step off the path and yield to the horse. Like in the marine world, all the smaller boat traffic is supposed to yield to the larger traffic. So I was just yielding to the larger beast, especially since there were two of them and only one of me. So you might have been hearing the news recently that Paramount is planning to merge. Paramount bought Warner Brothers, and they left Netflix at the altar and said we're going to merge with Warner Brothers. And now apparently Paramount Skydance is going to merge HBO Max and Paramount Plus. They say when you put the two of them together, you'll have 200 million direct-to-consumer subscribers, positioning the company to compete with Netflix. So when they merge these two, I can only imagine what this means is, so you take what you're spending per month on HBO Max, and you take what you're spending on Paramount Plus, and then you add them together, and then add 20%, and that's what you're going to end up paying when all's said and done.
I was going to ask you, what does this mean? What does this mean for us?
I mean, Paramount Plus, the price already went up recently, and that's what they'll do. I mean, you're eliminating. They're trying to make sure that Netflix isn't too huge, but this merger has to be paid for some way. So, and it won't just be I don't think you're going to save money in the end. They're not going to say, well, we're going to merge these two together, and now you're going to pay less. I don't know if you've noticed, but that's not really how the world works. Speaking of Netflix, the first complete performance of Kiss All the Time Disco Occasionally, which is the fourth studio album from Harry Styles, will soon be available at the click of a button. The live recording of the musician's one-night-only concert event scheduled for this Friday at a Co-op Live in Manchester, England, will stream on Netflix beginning on Sunday at 2 o'clock Central Time. On Instagram, Styles shared an official trailer for the film, which is titled Harry Styles One Night in Manchester, and it will be available on Sunday afternoon. Daniel Radcliffe is in the news. So during the Olympics, you might have seen all the promos for, it's like The Adventures of Reggie Dinkins or something. It's
all something like that. Mm-hmm.
It's Tracy Morgan And then I think Bobby Moynihan is in it as well. But then Daniel Radcliffe is somehow the other primary character to Tracy Morgan, which seems like an odd mashup of characters. Tracy Morgan is just very unique in his comedy. But Daniel Radcliffe says that he's now a fitness Greek, but used to run on coffee and cigarettes. Harry Potter was smoking the lung darts.
Right.
He's British.
Well,
that's true.
By the way, they don't call them lung darts. They call them
No,
something else.
They don't.
I think we're not allowed to call them that in the States, are we, Sam?
I don't think so.
I would probably prefer that you don't.
Yeah, not.
Me too.
It's
I really prefer.
unless you want in the know to end, and then in that case, it's one
Well, I
way
mean,
to do it.
I do need
I
it
don't
to.
really want my phone to ring.
I need it to end sometime today because I have things that things that I must go do.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd prefer too that the show would end at some point, and we're not just rolling all the way throughout the day.
I'm getting up. So you
I mean, I
can
got-
do whatever you want to
Luckily,
do. I'm
at
getting
least for the video, I have the option to just hit the stop button, so I can at least stop that.
There's one button you do control without a doubt.
That's the only. I guess I theoretically can hop into the back end here and at least send us to commercial or something if I need to.
I'm pretty sure I can shut us down.
Okay, your point is well made. All right, I'm not the one that's completely in control here. All right, fair enough. We got to get to a break. We'll come back. Got more on the way. Point to ponder, and we'll have a pearl of wisdom, your TV schedule, etc. coming up here on In the Know.
Many young girls dream about being superheroes. They want to be strong, bold, and fearless like Wonder Woman or Black Widow. Unfortunately, sooner or later, your daughter will discover that she won't grow up to wear a cape. Even so, she can grow up to be a hero in real life. How? By modeling her life after real women of history who lived courageously and changed the world. Harriet Tubman is a great example. Born into slavery in 1822, she escaped from her captors at the age of 27. She then risked her own safety again and again to help others through a secret network of safe houses known as the Underground Railroad. For 10 years, she worked as a nurse, spied for the Union Army, and helped dozens of people obtain their freedom. Heroes aren't just characters in a comic book. They're real. They walk among us, but they don't wear masks and brightly colored costumes. They look like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, or your daughter. We raise our daughters to become heroes by teaching them to defend the innocent and offer help to the weak. They change the world by standing for what's right, even when it's easier to look the other way. Every young girl has the potential to change the world because in real life, heroes don't leap small buildings in a single bound. They rise up, take a stand, and empower others to do the same. To help your children thrive, go to FocusOnTheFamily.com. I'm Jim Daly.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-936-5348.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-936-5348.
Stop your grinding with Brooks Night Guard. Are you waking up in the morning with a sore jaw, headaches, ringing in your ears, all because you're grinding and clenching your teeth at night? That's exactly what was going on with me. I ended up going to a dentist, and he wants to charge over $600 for a night guard. That's when I found the Brooks Night Guard. You mold it at home to the top or bottom teeth. Other mouth guards go all the way to the back, which allows the back teeth to touch. This is where most of the grinding and clenching occurs. The Brux Night Guard redirects the bite force away from the back teeth, reducing jaw pain while still protecting the teeth. This unique design is what makes Brux Night Guard different from all other traditional grind guards. Order your Brux Night Guard today and get 10% off plus free shipping. Go to BruxNightGuard.com and enter the code BRUX95. That's BRUX95.
Stop your grinding with Brux Night Guard.
My first mistake wasn't skipping the spa day, it was thinking I didn't deserve a little self care. That's why I'm heading to Pure Aesthetics and Wellness this Saturday, March 7th.
Discover Jeuveau, an FDA-approved injectable to smooth those frown lines. Join us from noon to 4 at 302 West White Oak, Suite C, Litchfield. No appointments needed. First 10 arrivals get 10 free units, a t-shirt, and $40 off a full service. Because you deserve it.
To ponder for today. What are some of the things that only women understand? Like there are some things that only women can figure out. They're just like men are baffled by them. Can I?
It's a question for her.
I'll give you an example. Very small dogs. Like you see a man with a really small dog and it just doesn't seem to work. Like a man needs a larger dog. Women somehow can figure out small dogs. I don't think men can.
I have a lot of things rolling around in my head.
Yeah. Okay. Do women know the crucial difference between a good haircut and a great haircut?
I think most women have an opinion. Sure.
I think men don't know that. I think you just get, I just got a haircut. How about this one? Only women know the difference between the colors taupe, toast, mocha, cafe au lait, bark, cinnamon, auburn, chestnut, walnut, sepia, and umber.
I'll turn that one back on you.
I don't know the difference between those colors. Do you know the difference between them?
No. I mean, I could, no.
You couldn't even get close?
I could get close, maybe. I mean, but not really.
I got nothing there.
Right? I'm like,
so you guys...
family of Browns?
You guys routinely know the show stack.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The show stack and how thick the show stack is.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in a while. I don't usually get to see it anymore. But.
Well, it's not any smaller than it used to be.
Actually, I wasn't expecting it to be.
It's been a little smaller the last 2 days because I'm trying to be. Well, the past 2 mornings I've had to involve the front desk staff to print it, and so I don't want to be.
You're trying to be economical.
I'm trying to be courteous to them because they're being gracious enough to print the stack out, which, in full disclosure, is typically about 40 pages a day. When we get to about probably 12 stories. But some of that stuff is lengthy, whether it's chart toppers or whatever. And I have tried to consolidate or eliminate extra clutter, etc. But then also, I have to wonder what the housekeeping staff thinks about there being a studio set up like in, one of the rooms that they're looking after. I think they must be a little bit puzzled. Like it probably doesn't happen every day that they see a big, lights and camera tripod and all that stuff.
They may be like doing their own TikToks or something in there while you're out.
I guess they could be. I guess I need to spend more time on TikTok trying to figure it out.
I mean, pretending with your microphone or
I hadn't considered that.
Right?
I mean, it might be.
That's kind of something I would do.
I don't.
Maybe they'll host the show.
That would be all right.
We still have a couple days.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is completely inside baseball, but it looks like tomorrow is on. So it looks like I won't be back looks like I'll be en route during the show on Thursday. So sorry. I know I'd kind of given you false hope that maybe you'd be off the hook on Thursday, but
that would have been nice.
Sounds like that's not going to work. But I believe the tallest banker is at least, I think, thought he might be available tomorrow. And then you all can spend some time previewing. No, are you shaking your head?
I mean, unless you've communicated with him.
Well, I've not communicated with him since last week when he said yes, he thought he could.
Oh, I heard I'll look at my calendar.
Well, that's true, but that typically means yes.
Okay.
And he typically doesn't commit to things a week out. Like if you ask him the morning of, he can, but oftentimes a week out. But since you all have got a big preview of the game tomorrow night, it kind of makes sense to have the tallest banker around.
What, you don't think Christy can bring us any insight?
She's got good insight. She knows. She can break it down. She knows whether their uniforms look good or not. It should be fine. NCIS is on CBS tonight. Best Medicine is on Fox, and a new series on ABC called R.J. Decker. I think that's about a guy from Shrewsbury. I mean, we all know an R.J. Decker. Today's highlight in history, this date, 1991, motorist Rodney King was severely beaten by L.A. police officers, and that spurred the L.A. riots, etc. 35 years ago today. Yeah. Florida became a state this date in 1845. Birthdays today. Singer Jennifer Warnes is 79 today. So the time of my life. And then Up Where We Belong with Joe Cocker. Ron Chernow is 77 today. So he's the one to credit, I suppose, for the inspiration of Hamilton. Because it was Ron Chernow's book on Alexander Hamilton that Lin-Manuel Miranda read while in the Caribbean on vacation, which gave him the inspiration to come up with the Hamilton mixtapes, which turned into the Hamilton musical.
It's a whole lot.
Yes, it is. And I want to read Ron Chernow's book, but I've tried to start it twice, and it's just too heavy, literally. It's not a good beach read. Miranda Richardson is 68 today. Radio personality Ira Glass is 67. Jackie Joyner Kersey is 64. Tone Loc is 60 today.
Whoa.
So did you get that photo, Sam? It was the last one. So while I'm in D.C., rubbing elbows and hobnobbing and trying to be important, my sisters are pinging me with...
it's in here, but it's
okay.
There it is.
So it is it's me and my delicious vinyl tank top made famous by Tone Loc. And now they also look goofy, but me and my tank there. See, there it is. Delicious vinyl.
Look at the hair.
Tone Loc, absolutely.
Right.
And look, it actually seemed like we might like one another.
I think you will always have.
That's true.
I just are good siblings.
I just like to act like we didn't. But anyway, they sent me that. I thought, well, that's pretty cool.
That is funny.
Julie Bowen is 56 today. David Faustino, Bud Bundy, Al Bundy's son, is 52 today. Jessica Biel is 44. Camila Cabello is 29. And NBA forward Jason Tatum is 28 today. Gone but not forgotten, George Pullman, who created the railroad sleeping car, was born in 1831. Alexander Graham Bell, born in 1847. Jean Harlow in 1911. And Ann B. Davis from the Brady Bunch was born in 1923. Oh, the other thing about the housekeepers, too, is you know how the table is spread out with all the stories after we use them and get turned over and they just get askew? Well, in this mobile setup, they're ending up in the floor. So, there's this carpet of papers in the floor. The housekeeper probably going, what has happened here?
Are you not picking them up?
Well, I did yesterday, and I probably will today, but I'm in kind of a hurry. And with that in mind, we've run over, so I'm going to go.
Okay.
MP's Pearl of Wisdom.
Better leave them $5 on the table.
I was going to say, tip them well.
I took care of them. Don't worry. NB's Pearl of Wisdom for today says, nothing is more beautiful than a smile that has struggled through tears. Nothing is more beautiful than a smile that has struggled through tears. MP's Pearl of Wisdom for today. Remember, God loves you, and I do too. If you don't know Jesus, let me know, and I'll introduce you. Look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow for another edition of our show. For Sam Gormley, for Beej, I'm MB, and now you're in the know.
The Twin Lakes Best Mix is WK.